one thing that's been hitting home during this, the one thing that's been hitting home, this greater effect during this crisis, hearing about the passing of many greatest artists and creators. And one of them recently, Danny Leake, who was a legendary Grammy-nominated studio and live engineer. He worked as Stevie Wonder's front-of-house engineer and recorded dozen others. The pandemic has brought to light some truly great titans and their contributions. And to talk more about this, I'd like to bring up our newest co-host, who you may recognize from the Sanctuary at Music Industry City, Ayesha Adamo. Ayesha, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Glad you can join us. So anything that Sam was talking about that popped out?
Oh, well, following what's going to happen with all these things with concerts, also, because I do acting as well with theater, any of these live performance things, I think it's great if we can keep the hope and hold on to those tickets like, it's going to happen, because it is ultimately, we just don't know when. And so I think it's good news that people are holding on to their tickets, and hopefully we can all get through this.
Yeah. So this was an interesting. You emailed me about this this topic, and and Danny, being one of the industry titans, but yet not in the forefront. And I think that was something that this time and era is bringing more exposure to the true creators behind the scenes. So
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the reason I wanted to talk about Danny is because I was hit hard by his passing. I worked with him on an album with a rock project called Loss of Eden, which didn't go anywhere. We recorded this beautiful music, and it didn't go anywhere. And yet, to lose an amazing person like that, you suddenly realize the value of the journey, the value of having spent the time in the studio and done all those, beautiful songs, even if it didn't become the outward success that it should have been. I think this time with people leaving us, and great people leaving us, people who are wonderful mentors. And Danny mentored so many audio engineers who ended up, working with Kanye and Common, and, the outpouring of all those engineers who he mentored is incredible. And also the artists. First, it brings to light this idea of, even if you don't feel like you're part of the scene in the way you want to be, or your career isn't going the way you want it to go. And I know as a musician, there are ups and downs, we're very accustomed to that. But even in those lows, you have to realize that there's so much gold there. And as difficult as this crisis is, and as many tragedies as there have also been these opportunities to have that kind of gratitude. And secondly, it brings to light this idea of, well, what kind of leader do I want to be in the industry? What kind of person do I want to be? How do I want to be with the other artists I work with and the other people around me? What kind of person do I want to be thought of as? So those are the kinds of things that I've been thinking about through this.
And that's it's really interesting. It's right now is that time that, and you touched upon it there, is like, think about what, at some point in people's lives, they think about the legacy they want to leave behind. And usually that comes later in life. But it's also something that people, when they're younger and the creators, like, what do I want to bring to this world? What do I want to create? What do I want to accomplish in my own, what do I consider success in my own standards? And right now is a perfect time to actually begin that self-reflection and look into it. It's like, hey, we're coming out of a very disruptive time. What's going to be the innovation? What's going to be the creativity that comes out of this? What are going to be the new challenges? How can I poise myself? How can I look deep inside and really understand, what do I want to be?
Exactly. And how can I reach people? Like doing this right now, like, how can we share the information we have and the experiences we have with other people who are going to benefit from that? I mean, it brings home a lot of things, that the power of what you can do, even just as yourself and just by being there.